to large jobs with inventory on hand. Speed Pro Imaging can do great big graphics and has large format printing solutions. Most importantly, they're competitively priced. Exceptional quality, great turnaround time, and competitive pricing. What more can you ask for? Whether you're planning an event or you're a business who needs to express themselves, Speed Pro Imaging is the solution. Call Phil today at 681-245-7384. That's 681-245-7384. Or visit Speed Pro Imaging at 205 Prospect Street in Lock Haven. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, or by appointment outside normal business hours.
Hey, it's Dana on News Talk 970 WBLF.
So that along with the statement, has enabled us to label this a terrorist event.
Yeah, that's right. And because, when he got out of the car screaming Allahu Akbar, that's a clear sign of terrorism, no matter how much can I just, by the way, I'm in a jerk mood today, and this is going to be a jerk show. So I'm just letting you know now. Welcome to the show. I'm Dana Lash, blah, blah, blah. So I watched last night some of the reaction to this. I mean, it's Halloween. You're dealing with trick-or-treaters and going off and, doing the whole, trick-or-treat thing, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, all of this comes out about this terrorist who apparently was a known wolf. The feds interviewed this guy back in 2015 about possible terror ties. And then here's the other thing. One of this guy's little terror pals, this, what is his name? Dog McDog.
Hey, friends, welcome to Lions Live, the only network built by the players to the fans. You got the Grizz, Jimmy Kennedy, and I need to skip Dribblebis, and we're expecting a co-Grizz role, and the big dude tonight may not make it. He's got some things going on, but we hopefully can maybe bring him in here a little bit later for some picks. So, wow, heart-breaking loss, Jimmy, over this past weekend. But a great time, and all hope is not gone, here for Penn State fans. There's still a lot yet to do this season, games to win, bowl games to go to, and you never just can tell on any given Saturday because it doesn't mean we're out. Ohio State loses a couple more, and we can still make that claim. So what are you thinking?
Man, definitely heartbroken because, they took the loss. But given this day, in this modern time, it's hard to really have an undefeated team play for the national championship. Usually these days you have one, undefeated team versus a one-loss team. I believe even Clemson last year, which I'm not 100% on, I believe they might have one loss last year. But I believe so. But this is what I was saying last week prior to this game was I didn't like us being ranked number 2, and I didn't like the fact that we took our first loss towards the end of the year.
Right. Because
that's when we drop and we don't have a chance to go play for that national championship. But just like what we said, all hope isn't lost. Just like last year, if Ohio State, obviously they lose some games or something like that. If that happens, hopefully we have a chance to still play for the Big Ten and still continue to the Big Dance. I still think it's a remarkable season so far. If we finish, with one loss, it'll still be an amazing year. There'll be a lot to that we accomplished and so on. You still have a couple of older guys and guys from last year who will finish their career with, a Big Ten championship and so on. It's a lot of things to still build on. We still had, even in this past game, a number of young guys get a lot of opportunities, get a lot of playing time and so on, and that's stuff to build on for the future. I'm just not nervous, but I just don't like the fact that last year, even though we won the Big Ten, we didn't have an opportunity to play in the playoffs and represent, the Big Ten. Ohio State still had that chance to do it. And they went out there last year and stunk the place up. So
they did.
So I'm still not sold on JT Barrett. I know they spoke on how well he played down the fourth quarter and so on, the last few throws and so on. his career will be over after, he plays his last game at Ohio State. I don't see him wowing anyone. I don't think he's the leader. I think he's more hyped over the program. Maybe I'm just bashing him and so on, but I don't see him being, and I know I'm not a fan of Ohio State. Kudos to them fighting back and so on. I don't think Ohio State beat us. Right. I think we hurt ourselves. I don't think we had the game plan to go out there and really execute. But that's been week in and week out. And it's one of those things that's like, you want to root against it because it's so predictable, especially me being a retired NFL player. It's so predictable. It's literally, I'm watching it and I'm shutting the offense down in my head. And I'm like, a couple of times, they might have a big play or two with, like the Barkley, play after pass where he gets the ball and went to run, and then all of a sudden the linebacker's played up and he threw it over top of the linebacker's head for a touchdown. Like that play, and maybe a couple of plays to Gesicki, that I probably was like shocked on. I was like, oh yeah, they would have had me on that. Sure. But overall, watching the game, it was just extremely predictable. And reality is, our offense didn't do anything really. I think we did well, but I think our defense played well in the first half. We had our struggles in the third and fourth quarter, but like I said, I don't think we made great halftime adjustments, and I think getting out on the early lead, jumping 14-0, like when you texted me, I was like, hey, Skip, stop texting me because the game's not over, and I just felt that we was going to stall.
Wow, I was disappointed. Yeah. And it was just like, well, I noticed, that it started out great, and I noticed Ohio State just kept making mistakes. Ohio State made a lot of mistakes this game, and we capitalized on all of them, and it was great. And I was like, yes, and then I thought we had it. I thought we had it won. Ohio State just couldn't put it together. The thing that I noticed at the end is, all I can say this is when they put it together, they got it together. They played well. They played good football at the end, and we did not step up to where we needed to be to secure the win. And that's a disappointment, because I thought, if we would have won that game, it's like I said last week, we'd be playing Alabama, because I couldn't see anybody else stopping us throughout the season or in the Big Ten game. Maybe Wisconsin, but
And you know what it is, Skip, is, like I know you text me and you text us and you were saying that, we're up by 10, the game is in the bag. And I was just like, I just didn't feel it. And the reason why I didn't feel it, not because of Penn State, I think it's because of the buildup that the media and so on continues to give Ohio State. Like, Ohio State is not a good team. Penn State played poorly, and Ohio State has they have an easy road to the national championship, and they also have favoritism and so on because of the coach, what he's done with in the past with Florida and so on. So I think what happens is, like, we played poorly. Defense started playing a lot. We played poorly, and what happens is, prior to us, Penn State, Ohio State didn't play any competition. And the only other competition that they played is literally Oklahoma, and Oklahoma beat them to death.
Right.
So it's like one of those things that this was their get-up game, Yeah. And given the situation, given that they were at home, given that it was a Big Ten game, I'm not saying that, hey, we're rivals and so on like that, but like I said, the Pennsylvania, PA, Ohio game, all-star game starting from high school, just, recruiting and everything else, it's always seemed to be a competition when it comes to that. I just feel like the stage was set up for Ohio State to win. I don't want to make it like a referee game or nothing like that or so on, but it's just like I just couldn't understand how you have a up protector blocked down when there's a guy coming down and the kick is blocked. I'm like, literally, like, really, we make that mistake? It just felt like a setup. You know?
Well, yeah, there's some disappointment to it. Time of possession. It was a pretty well balanced game, but as far as yards go, total yards, I mean, they doubled. They're close to.
Yeah, but they couldn't move the ball all game.
Yeah,
They couldn't move the ball all game. Then all of a sudden,
it made
in the
me.
fourth quarter, they're just moving and marching down the field.
Yeah,
So
and it made me wonder. Which Ohio State team's playing ball here? I mean, yeah, I'm glad they didn't play like that. They did last few minutes of the game all game long because it would have been bad.
yeah, but you say that, Skip. But then I say this: what happened if Barkley has dominated in the past. What happened if we had a more balanced Penn State offense?
Well, yeah.
I don't think we were balanced, offensively, and we still put up some great numbers.
We did. There's a lot of excitement with this team, and I'm every week they seem to amaze me in different ways, and I'm glad to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also try to look at us soberly, and I'm thinking, we almost lost to Iowa too. So looking at it sober-mindedly, we're a good team. Penn State is a good team, okay, with plenty of work to do yet, and it'll be just really kind of interesting to see how it plays out. I heard the phone go off there. Is that Yakov? Are you with us, buddy? Is that you, Yakov?
Hey! How you doing?
There he is. All right, Yakov. How are you?
Yeah. I wanted to piggyback on that real fast. But great to hear from you guys, and I'm excited. I want to hear all of the thoughts, all of the emotional thoughts, because the Grizz. On top of that, when we lost in '99, we didn't have a Big Ten championship to play for or a playoff to play for. So I do think they got a whole different type of circumstance than we had when we were ranked number 2 and we lost. So I feel a lot better about that. But I was just going to mention, with the team and with all of this, are we assessing this team ahead of schedule? You know what I mean? Because like you guys said, it's a great team, it's a great program. We didn't really think we were going to be this far at this point in time, and it's like we're kind of already grading them based on what, but So I think it's something that it's a two sides to it. Like we're ahead of schedule, but we're grading them as if we are on schedule. But so I agree. We're doing a great job, but it's still a tough loss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jacob, to add on what you're saying, I think we are ahead of schedule when it comes to where we are with the development of our guys and so on. But I think we're behind schedule because of just given the situation. Like the chances of, we most likely going to lose Barkley. Most likely Saquon's going to be gone. So then we have some solid backs. But as of right now, it sounds like it's going to be a by committee thing. We have to. Even though we have Barkley there, on our returns, our kickoff returns, we really have to have someone that could, replace that spot. But then we also have to add the fact that our receivers, we still have some young ones, but I believe we lose 5, right?
Number 5, yeah.
So I believe we lose him, and then we lose our safety. We lose. So we lose our leadership. Like if you look, it's not just about Barkley leaving, going pro. It's about the fact that he's an offensive leader. So not only is he an offensive leader, he carries the load in terms of running the ball when we're successful running the ball, but then also he's a threat out of the backfield. That's hard to replace. Then you add the fact that he's a kickoff return guy and he just had success with it. So now we add that part to it, having a guy that's return kicks and so on. So we have that part. Then because he's such a threat out of the backfield with throwing the ball, our interception rates go down because we're not taking as much chances downfield with a receiver. We could dump it up to Barkley and get the 10, 15 yards or so on that we need to keep the chains moving and so on, which in return doesn't help our younger receivers and so on develop. So going into next year and going into the future, we have a lot of holes. Well, we have a lot of unknowns because of the spotlight that we'll lose.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Looking at it from that, and that's true. Like McSorley's success, it's hard to really all the way assess because he's had Barkley with him, and Barkley's done so much. But like you said, Barkley's not there. Maybe it might put a little more tension or a little more stress on McSorley and the receivers, or everybody. And we need to be prepared for that. So yeah, I think that's a great point.
Well, let me ask you now. We have 4 games. We have these games left here. Does Coach start to work in Andre Robinson or Miles Sanders or Mark Allen in the backfield now? Do we start to do that? I think Saquon's going to be. He's a tremendous athlete, and Jimmy, I'm kind of curious to what your thoughts is. Going off a little bit of a tangent here, since we talking about the future here, what's happening. From the professional side of football, how do you see Saquon doing in the NFL?
The NFL is always based off. The NFL isn't based off of talent. It's the NFL it's a well-oiled machine. So I look at this like this. Like for example, Larry Johnson had a successful NFL career, but if you look at the situation, Larry Johnson fell into a situation and he replaced a guy that was just like Larry Johnson. So if he would have went any other place, he probably would have struggled. For example, just imagine Larry Johnson going to Cleveland. If he goes to Cleveland, now Larry Johnson never becomes the Pro Bowl running back Larry Johnson. But Larry Johnson coming into Kansas City, who's known for running the ball, no matter how good the quarterback is or how good the defense is. Before Larry Johnson, there was a guy named Priest Holmes who literally took the ball, took one cut, took it to the house, and, did his little sideways running in celebration into the end zone. So what happens is it becomes a thing of, like, for example, if you look at my career, my NFL career, what happens is it's like, well, Jimmy Kennedy, he was a dominant player in college, but he was a so-so. In fact, he was a bust in his NFL career. Okay, so if you break that down, and then you say, well, he had his best years when he was in Minnesota and when he was with the Giants. Okay, so you break that down and I ask this question, and like I said, not making about me, but just strictly addressing the Barkley situation. When have the Rams, outside of now, with Aaron Donald, has been known for having a dominant defensive tackle?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And so what you're saying, Jimmy, if I understand, is it's a chess game, and it's all a matter of depending upon how that game's played, where you put the right person in the right place and how well they perform. Because
exactly.
if you're looking for a running back and a team that's known to, if let's say Saquon goes to a team that's not known to run the ball that much, well,
exactly.
His NFL career could may not be as long. But if he goes to a team that's known for running the ball, he let's say he goes to the Cowboys. Okay, is that the world on fire, right? Because they're running the ball.
Exactly.
But if he goes
and then here's what we have to think about. The bad teams need more than a running back, and they're not known for running the ball. So, right. For example, I believe Saquon still has eligibility. He's not a senior or nothing, right?
He's actually a junior. He has one more year left. So does McSorley. He has another year left. So we have some younger guys in the receiving core yet, and running back situations that are still.
And I understand, and obviously, me being a guy who came back for my 5th year and so on, even though I was projected as a late first rounder, early second rounder, I still decided to come back because obviously I wanted to win and everything else. You have to look, because it's not just about the the attitude of the team. It's all about the front office. It's all about the front office. It's all about the coaching, whoever they get. For example, Minnesota, they lose Adrian Peterson, they get rid of him, and so on. But the front office, the GM and those guys are still dedicated to running the ball. So they go get the guy out of Florida State. The front office is still, no matter who the coach is, the front office is still dedicated to having a great defense, no matter who the coach is. Even though the Giants are struggling right now and they don't have offensive weapons and different stuff like that. If you think of the Giants when they had success, they had a 1-2 running back. They had, Jacobs and Bradshaw and different so on. And they had one solid, decent receiver with a couple of surrounding cast members, the Plexico Burress, the shock catch by David Tyree, and so on. When we won my year when I was there, we had, Victor Cruz, we had Manningham, you had those guys. You understand what I'm saying? So, and we still had Jacobs and Bradshaw at running back. If you go to San Francisco right now,
and Lovey,
no, we ain't have Lovey there, and that is the Giants. But listen, if you go, if you go right now to the chances of Barkley where he can possibly go, San Francisco in the past when they had Garrison, Hurst, and those guys, they was known for running the ball, but they got away from that.
Right.
So now who are they? They need more than a running back right now. They got Carlos Hyde, they had Frank Gore. They had, they was known for running the ball, but they got rid of Frank Gore because they don't run the ball anymore. So now it's like, well, you get a Barkley, and Barkley's not going to do anything if he goes to the 49ers, but get beat up, running the ball, getting hit, and so on. Cleveland already showed you from having a dominant player like Trent Richardson running the ball that they can mess him up if he go there. Like, everyone talk about if Cleveland would have took Deshaun Watson. Well, Deshaun Watson wouldn't be having the success he's having right now if he was in Cleveland. Just look at Myles Garrett. He goes out there from Courtney Brown and the dominant first rounders that they had, the Courtney Brown, and even to the cornerback that they had, number 23, who now plays for the Steelers. Joe Hayden. They always have first round busts, and it's been the same way with just certain programs. Like I said, for example, when I talk about my career, I say, all right, well, they say he's a first-round bust. And I say, okay, well, guess what? I was a first-round bust. Adam Carricker from Nebraska was a first-round bust for the Rams. You start just naming people. Brian Pickett was a first-round bust. Damian Lewis was a first-round bust, defensive tackle. Alex Barron, offensive tackle, was a first-round bust. The other offensive tackle that they got after was a first-round bust. Like, they just don't have anyone. They just don't do well with their first-rounders. That's just who they are. So I hope that Barkley has a chance to go to a team on their down year. Like, for example, just look at, like a McCaffrey. He went to Carolina. It's just a missing piece. Obviously, they're falling apart now, but he's able to go in there and have success. I would love to see Saquon go to, like, the crazy thing about it is the places that I would like to see him go to are places that have running backs, like possibly Green Bay.
Okay.
Possibly, because I think he'll have Aaron Rodgers to have fun with him.
How about Detroit? How do you think he'd do it at Detroit?
I think he'll be terrible out in Detroit.
Yeah, they don't have anybody blocking. But they run the ball. They try to run the ball anyway.
No. But here's what the thing is. I think in terms of like individual stats, he'll have some decent numbers. Reggie Bush had a solid career. I mean, a solid season out in Detroit. They usually have a solid running back and so on. But you go to Detroit to patent your own stats. You don't go to Detroit to win.
Yeah.
They don't never play well into the fourth quarter and so on. And they're going to Detroit the situation. They're going to pull the Lions and if you can't win with,
it's almost like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
How about like in Pittsburgh?
I would love him.
It'd be great if he get there.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But guess what? You already have the running back from the University of Pittsburgh, Connor. Yeah. You already have Le'Veon Bell. That's what I said.
Hey, what about the Bears, man?
Well, I was going to mention that next. Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. I don't think he'll be good at the Bears.
Yeah.
Come on, hey, we need something, man.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't think so. Because if you look at it, the Bears aren't really known for running the ball like that. You know, because they
Long
always
time
mess
ago.
it up.
We had Enos. You remember we
Well,
had Enos?
like I'm thinking back more like 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, like think about this. Obviously,
Yeah.
we could always talk about pace.
Yeah.
But then after that, Kurt Enos didn't have success there. They didn't have a solid running back there. I mean, you had a couple of good guys who had a couple of good seasons, like, for example, Benson from Texas. I think he had a good season there and so on. Forte had a couple of solid seasons, but nothing spectacular. You still get rid of him. Other than that, who else can you say?
No,
can't say anyone.
I mean, no, you're right, man, and that's the issue we've had, and it's been there since, and that's why in Chicago that '85 Bears Super Bowl season is at the tip of everybody's tongue. Like that's the last memory we really have of where we put it all together. I mean, obviously Lovey had the Super Bowl year, but it still does not. The truth with that Walter Payton year.
Yeah, you had a big boy you could run the ball into back in that day too. You know, you had the Perry, the fridge man. He could.
Well, we had Stewie from Penn State.
Well, that's right.
Stewie.
Yeah, well, he made a career blocking for him, man. Yeah,
he's a legend.
So
if I had to look and see where just random teams where I could think that Saquon can help them win a championship, like for example. Let's say this. Let's say Saquon was to go to Houston right now. Houston, Saquon, they have Clowney playing well on defense. You get J.J. Watt back playing defense again. Your secondary, you still got to add a couple of pieces. But overall, you get pressure on the quarterback defensively. You have Saquon back there running the ball and being a threat out of the backfield. You have a young talent in Watson. You have Hopkins out there catching the ball and so on. You get to another receiving threat and so on. And I think they're competing to win. You know, I mean, so I think Houston will be a nice fit for them. Plus, when Houston did have a solid running back, Foster and so on, they ran the ball. And he wasn't just an in-between the tackles kind of guy. He was a shifty guy and so on, just like Saquon. So I think they know how to use a guy that's as shifty as Saquon. I don't think Saquon will be well with the Colts. I don't see him doing well I don't even see him doing well with the Ravens. You know, I see him doing well with the Steelers.
Sure.
And the Ravens will run the ball, but it's something dirty about them. Like I don't mean dirty like that, but it's just it's a grittiness that they have. That's like you know what I'm saying? It's between the tackles. Ground and pound, and I think they'll beat Saquon up, you know, and you know, not use him to his advantage, you know. So obviously, I think everyone thinks he'll be amazing with the Patriots, but I don't think the Patriots will utilize him the way they're capable of.
That's right. That's right. That's a good point, Jimmy. That's a good
point. But then he'll have success in Miami, but he'll never win. You know,
he write the books. He may write the record books, but he ain't gonna make it to the Super Bowl. Yeah,
exactly. So for me, it's like I'm not just looking at him as an athlete. I'm looking at him as him having a successful career and actually winning. Because when you're not winning, it makes you hate the game a little bit. It's like, oh my God, like come on now, year in, year out. And Saquon doesn't seem, in the few times that I've met him, he doesn't seem like a guy who just want to pat his own stats.
Right.
He seems like a guy just like McSorley.
He's got desire. They got heart. They got heart for the game.
Yeah. And that's what McSorley has. JT Barrett doesn't have.
Yes, that's an interesting point. You can see it.
That's all I'm complaining. I'm not complaining about JT, who he is as a person and so on. That it factor that McSorley has, that fight and so on. Like McSorley I guarantee you, he might not be saying anything, but I guarantee you he is heartbroken and pissed that he didn't complete that fourth down. You know? And I guarantee you that he was the first one watching film to make sure he fixes so it doesn't happen again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can see it in the game, Jimmy. You can see this in the game if you're watching it. If the play, I don't know if people out there are noticing this. You can see those attitudes out there when you're watching it.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the stuff that and that's what, like I said, I'm not trying to just bash Barrett, but that's like, even when you take it to the pro level, when the game's on the line, you're scared because the attitude that comes with a Tom Brady, the attitude that comes, oh, hold up, we got a minute and 30. Oh, they're gonna get the ball back to Tom. Oh my God, we got a minute and 30. Oh my God, they're gonna get the ball back to Russell Wilson. What? It's a minute and 30. Hold up, don't get the ball to Aaron Rodgers. So it becomes certain things. And I'm not speaking in terms of talent, because watch talent. If it's a minute and 30, do you feel that same way if Andrew Luck got the ball? You don't really feel the same way. It's the attitude. If it's a minute and 30, are you really
you got a Roethlisberger there who can try to make something happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right. Like, a minute and 30, you're like, Roethlisberger, yeah, I think he can take us down the field. I'm 60-40, but there's no doubt in your mind if it's a minute and 30 and Tom Brady has the ball that y'all going to score or get in field goal position. There's no doubt in your mind if it's a minute and 30 and y'all down by 3 points that y'all going to score or get a field goal with Russell Wilson. There's no doubt in your mind that Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the Hail Mary to get y'all to win the game or something. It's just no doubt.
Right. It's
that
attitude.
That's the attitude that I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this team has that heart. This team, and you can see that. You can see it if you're watching the game out there. You can see it, and that's why I don't want these guys to lose any heart either, because they, for those out there listening to this, man, we're behind you guys. We love what you're doing, and every week we're pleasantly surprised, man. We're loving it. So don't get down. Don't get down. Keep it up, man. Fight.
I'll tell you this is what I love, and I said this to this guy, and I'm gonna do something that I don't usually do, and I'm gonna share with you guys the attitude that Penn State has. Shaka Tony is a redshirt sophomore, right? I believe he might be a redshirt freshman or so on, but I know he's young, And we lost one of our defensive ends early, and he had to play. At the end of the game, he sent me a message, and he said, "Did you see the game?" And I said, "Yeah, I saw the game." And he used the F word. He said, "I really effed up bad." And I said, "Bro," "you made a lot of good plays, but you also left some stuff on the field that you got to clean up and fix." He said, "We lost this game. It's on me." That's what he said. And I said to him, "First off, you don't play offense."
Right.
I said, you can control what you can control. I said, Don't get me wrong. I love the attitude. I said, I love the fact that you're taking ownership. I said, but when it's all said and done, you win as a team, you lose as a team. Don't just be so hard on yourself, man. I said, think about it. You wasn't thinking you was going to play the whole game. You were a third down guy. You 230 pounds. I said, it's not just about being a speed rusher and so on. When you got these 6'7", 330-pound defensive tackles running at you, I said, you're a speed rusher. I said, in the off season, I'll be out there. I'll make sure I do some things to show you technique-wise, so you don't have to worry about that. I said, because right now, you're a speed pass rusher guy. We put you in there for a certain, for a certain reason. I said, you got to understand, just don't doubt yourself. I said, Jared Allen, he used to show up to camp in Minnesota at 260 pounds, and literally by week 3, Jared is 240. I said, you 238 right now. I said, Jared's 240. I said, but he dominates because of his technique. I said, Michael Strahan, Hall of Famer and so on, dominated at 250. I said, because his technique, his strength, his so on. I said, don't worry about it. Stay positive and fix it. The game, remember Coach Franklin said, we're 1-0 this week. All right, so this past week, we're 0-1. Now we got to get back on track and get back to being 1-0.
Right.
Right. I said, it's 1 week at a time. I said, so next game up. Guess what? When you watch the film, I said, next game up. When you watch the film, don't make the same mistakes. I said, listen, if I was to come out to the NFL and play ball right now, I said, guess what? I said, if I was to play college right now, I said, I guarantee you I'll dominate the game because I've learned so much. Yeah. I said, if I was to go back to the NFL right now, I guarantee you I'll dominate. I won't make the same mistakes that I made in the past. But that doesn't mean that I won't make new mistakes that I don't know. You understand?
Right, right.
That doesn't mean that I won't make new mistakes that I don't know.
That's right.
I said, so what happens is live in the moment, fix what you have, and continue to learn from your own mistakes and continue to get better, man. Keep your head up high.
That's right.
So, that's a little heart-to-heart that I had with just one of our D linemen. And, and then following him, the next day, I'm talking to Sharif, and it's the same thing. Like, man, I should have had a sack in the fourth quarter. I should have did this. JT he should at least felt some pressure. And so I said, come on, bro. I said, what y'all doing? Like texting each other, talking about, living in sorrow? I said, it didn't happen. I said, it's fine. 3-step drop, 3-step passes, timing, 2-minute offense, stuff that they practice all the time. I said, it's just, they was in routine. I said, it is what it is. I said, it happens, it's over. Now learn from your mistakes.
Right. It's the game between it's the game between the ears. It's really the game between the ears that you have to win. Yeah. You have to see it. You have to, and you just gotta capitalize on it. And you can see the guys that take it beyond. It is kind of it's frustrating when they all want to try to own it and try to blame themselves for something that's a team sport. As a kicker, you miss. You get that one shot, but you need a guy that can snap it well. You need a guy that can hold it well. You need somebody else who can block it, man. Because somebody comes through, you can have a great snap, a great hold, and if somebody else lets somebody through and they get up, and it's everybody all together that has to make it all happen all at once. And that's just that's the way it works. And and each person it's a well-oiled machine, man. I mean, it's set from the quarterback, the running back, the guy blocking and making the hold, to the guy going up to catch the ball. Everybody has to pull it all together so that you can share the frustration, but get over it and get on, learn from it, like you say, and you got to move it on and stay positive because man, there's still plenty of football left here. I mean, we've seen crazy things happen. Look, who would have thought the year before, coming down to the end of the game, we would have blocked a field goal. First of all, the odds of blocking a field goal aren't great. First of all, the odds of them even kicking one at that point in the game at Ohio State up here is slim to none. But he went ahead and did it, and we blocked it, and we picked it up, and he went for a touchdown. That can happen in any game. Ohio State, we could still wind up playing for it if the ball just bounces our way. And it can happen. It's happened before, and it can happen again. Look what happened at Iowa this year. I thought we're going to lose that game. We were losing that game till the last play. All right. It can happen. They got to believe. You just got to believe, and you got to want it and go out there and leave nothing behind. You got to put it all out and let it hang out and go for it. If you play with that hesitation in the back of your mind about the past, it will beat you in the future.
Yep.
It always.
And I don't think they play. I mean, I don't think it's gonna haunt them. No. I think what happens is they always talk about certain things as a competitor. As a competitor, if we're out there and we're playing and we're doing certain things, like if you're not prepared and you didn't do things the right way and you're capitalizing on some things or whatever, if you're not capitalizing on some things, and here it is, the start of the fourth quarter, the score is 38-3. Guess what? You're going to lose. Most likely, you could fight and have, put some and have, moral victories and stuff, but you know you're going to lose. But when you lose in the fourth quarter, last second touchdown, when you lose 38-37 or 35, whatever the score was, 1 point, that's the stuff that haunts you. It's like, oh my God, that one sack, that one strip, that one fumble. Because when you watch film and you see, oh my God, that was so easy. I could have did this. That would have been a difference. Oh my God, look at this. That would have been a difference. Like, for example, it's not just about our stars and it's not just about our defensive ends and our defensive tackles and so on and offensive linemen. It's about that one, up guy that blocked down and the kick is blocked, the punt is blocked. And it's oh my God. Right. That's how it is just blocked out.
Right.
Right. Like we would have got the kickoff and so on.
Right.
So it becomes all that
let
stuff.
me just let me get in here real fast. I don't want to. I just because of the game, I wanted to hear the Grizz. I wanted to hear your thoughts on the defensive line with Coach Johnson, and what you saw, and if it was similar to what you knew, or if it was new or different, or what. I just wanted to hear some thoughts on your thoughts on Penn State's defensive line and Ohio State's defensive line.
You know what it is? Penn State's defensive line still has a lot to learn. Ohio State's defensive line is. I wasn't wowed by them. I wasn't wowed by them, but I was. I can't say wow because they still gave up 30-something points. You understand? Yeah. So they still let McSorley have a day versus them. And I know that's a secondary thing and so on, but I didn't see him run around sacking and dominating the game. But here's what the thing is: when the game was on the line, they got a three and out, couple turnovers or whatever it was. They put pressure. Game on the line. They showed up. Yeah, our defensive line at Penn State. I can't wait to. God willing, is my body holds up and so on, going through the surgeries and stuff that I'm going through. I have another one on next Monday. So. I wish I wish I had the time to go and just show our defensive line the things that will help them win a national championship, will help them dominate. Like I wish I could have been able to go out there, because what happens is it becomes a certain things about not just about college, it's just about blocking schemes, helping each other out. Like I was saying to when I was there talking to the fellas, Michael Haynes led and still leads, the Big Ten, and still has a Penn State record for fumble causes and fumble recoveries and so on, and sacks and so on, because of me. And I don't say that to toot my horn. I say that because I wasn't a sack guy. My job wasn't to get the sacks. My job was, for my position, was to make sure we shut down and run. My job was to make sure nobody run. I'm tackle to tackle is mine. I don't want you to run the ball and, I'm going to be this big guy sideline to sideline, but you're definitely not running within the tackle. And I took pride in that. But I also knew, no matter what, because of that, I knew I was never going to get one-on-one block. So it just never happened. And when it happened, I put up 5 sacks versus versus Wisconsin. The one time I was like, you know what? Let's just single block him all day. What? Hold up. Okay. So, but even then it was like, they single blocking me and they're doubling Mike. So it looks like I got to, turn it up today and become a sack guy. Yeah. Other than that, my job is to do, and I don't want to say it on air, to show these boys the techniques and the different styles and different stuff that Ohio State guys use. Just that's not going to get flags and so on. That's causing Bosa to come flying around the edge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know how hard it is? And I'll say this like this. You know how hard it is for an offensive tackle to block a defensive end when he got a defensive tackle in his hip, grabbing on him, pushing on him, and everything else and so on? You ain't going to never have a chance to touch that defensive end. You understand? Yeah. So it's just certain things that needs to happen that Penn State needs to capitalize on. And when I talk to some of the defensive line, it's not that they're not getting coached well, because they're getting coached great. Obviously, they're playing great ball and so on. It's just the edge that they don't have, the little things that they don't have. Like people forget, like I said, people forget that. Like, for example, when I talk to them, I'm sharing the stuff that the one of the best defensive lines, what they call them now, some sushi, whatever, master defensive line coach for Larry Johnson and everything else and stuff they refer to him as. Well, guess who taught me how to play D-line? Larry Johnson.
Yeah.
Guess who taught me all the secrets and so on? Larry Johnson. Guess who was one of the first defensive tackles that Coach Johnson ever coached? in college at Penn State? Jimmy Kennedy. You know, so all the secrets and so on. Like I told you guys last week, when I got to Penn State, Coach Joe Savile was my defensive tackle coach.
Exactly.
You know?
You guys were like the beginning of that era, really.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
not everybody realizes Coach Johnson when he got there. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't as long as some of the other coaches.
Yeah.
But he wasn't all the way new like Vanderlyn or Norwood. You know,
Coach Johnson got respect and love because he was putting guys like Brad Scioli and Courtney Brown. He was still having success with the defensive end. But Coach Johnson didn't have a defensive tackle until Jimmy Kennedy. So when it went Jimmy Kennedy, and I'm not saying this like I'm the best or whatever the case may be. I'm saying this because I was a defensive tackle that Coach Johnson had, and Anthony Adams wasn't the starter next to me. It was Jimmy Kennedy and David Fleischhauer. You know what I'm saying? It was Jimmy Kennedy, and you know what I'm saying? And then the following year, Anthony came.
And kind of a similarity, like even with Coach Norwood, I was the first safety that started for him because of the time. You know what I mean? Like the time when we was there, I was his first year, and I happened to be the starter that year. So, you know, I feel what you're saying that, you know, and a lot of people don't all the way know that it was the end, and then it moved to the tackles, you know. So, but I also wanted to ask, though, now, when you look at Ohio State defensive line, does that remind you of a Penn State defensive line? Or is
not at all.
Or it's different?
No, it's definitely different. But it's not different because of it's different because of this. Like, for example, when I went to Penn State, my passion was to make sure that the defensive line got respected. You know what I'm saying? So understand this. When I got there, everyone was like, oh, Coach Paterno's going to move you to offense. They don't play 300-pounders on defense. And I was just like, listen, if I go to offense, I'm out of here. You know, I know I'm an All-American offensive tackle and so on, but he ain't going to allow me to play two ways. I'm playing just defense. You know? and I'm going to tell you why. Because I had a desire to not only get my degree and so on, but to make it to where Penn State was known for defensive linemen. Not just defensive ends, and because I'm going to a place that everyone's telling me, oh, that's linebacker you. That's linebacker you. They're just going to have double teams on you and so on. The linebacker's going to run free. That's linebacker you. I'm just like, nah, it's not just linebacker you. I want them to respect our defensive line. So obviously when I got there, I was young and so on, and freshman and so on. So I get to see guys like Courtney Brown practice and how great he was, and, you know, Justin Kapakis and those guys and so on. But I think I would like I said, I don't take ownership or anything like that, but I do take pride in the fact that I went to a school that was just known for, you know, the Collins boys and so on, and Brandon Short and those guys. You know what I'm saying? The linebacker guys are running backs, you know, because that's what Penn State was known for. Running backs, you know, and linebackers. You know, after Courtney Brown left, I like to say, I'm not speaking just in terms of, you know, just defensive ends, but I like to say that who followed? You got Courtney Brown. You got in the pros right now, you got Cameron Wake. You have Tamba Ali. You have, you had Jay Alford. You had, you know, Levi Brown, who we had to convince to switch over to offense and so on. So you had success. You had successful defensive tackles. The guy with the daughter who overcame cancer, you know, that played for Cincinnati. And so, you know, Devin Stills,
and Jordan Hill.
That's what I'm saying. So Jordan Hill, you had tons of defensive tackles after me who came to Penn State, who when they see me, they're like, man, Coach Johnson was putting on highlight after highlight of you and saying, here's what you need to be. Here's what you need to do. Here's this, here's that. Here's the mistakes he made. Here's this, here's how to do it. And I became the benchmark. So for me, it was a prideful thing, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to toot my own horn. I'm saying this because since leaving Penn State to have to talk to Coach Johnson and have him say, "Hey, Hoff, I put on some film with you today, man. The boys are going crazy. I got them boys running sideline to sideline. I got them doing this. I got them doing that." That was awesome. That was awesome to hear. It was like, listen, because the goal wasn't for those guys. The goal wasn't to go out and be Jimmy Kennedy. The goal was to be better than Jimmy Kennedy. You understand? So from my position, when I got to Penn State, the only person I could look up to was Bruce Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Bruce Clark won the Outland Trophy, so on. So I didn't have no one throwing on film saying, look at this defensive tackle right here. I didn't have that at Penn State. You understand? Yeah. But what I'm saying is after, when I left, they were able to say, hey, look at Devin Steele. Hey, look at Jason Alford. Hey, look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. Look at what they're doing. Hey, when I left, they was able to tell Jason Alford and Devin Steele and those guys, hey, look at Jimmy Kennedy. Look at this. Look at that. When I got there, it wasn't no look at this, look at that. It was like literally Kareem McKenzie and Floyd Wedderburn coming to me saying, I don't know what's going on with you, bro, but they're in the defensive tackle in the Big Ten that we face better than you. And you a freshman. Wow. And I'm like, what? Hold up. What you mean? Hold up. I just came from the middle of Yonkers. You telling me that there's no one on this level better than me in the Big Ten? We talk about the Big Ten here. I'm like, Michigan. We talk about Wisconsin. We talk about Ohio State. You telling me there's no one? It's just like not a defensive tackle. If you look, name a defensive tackle who was in front of Casamoyer when he was there. Name a defensive tackle who was in front of Niall Diggs when he was there. You can't. It was like those guys wasn't getting respected and so on. And he was like, man, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Floyd Wedderburn, Kareem McKenzie telling me, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Because I didn't have someone saying, hey, put on this film. Yeah. I didn't have. I'm 6'5" at the time. I was 6'5", 330 pounds. Warren Sapp is not 6'5", 330 pounds. But everyone, because Warren Sapp was a dominant defensive tackle for Tampa Bay and so on, everyone act like Warren Sapp was the benchmark. And if you was dominant and trying to play hard and so on, you was trying to be the next Warren Sapp. I just wanted to be the next Jimmy Kennedy and the next dominant defensive tackle so Penn State could make some noise and be known for a defensive line school. And I think those boys right now are still doing a great job of keeping this tradition going because you still got great linebackers, solid linebackers that play disciplined ball, like Paul Paluxny, however you say his name, Sean Lee, Bowman, and now you have Victor, however you say his name and so on. But you still have that. But I guarantee you that they're still talking about Sharice. I guarantee you that they'll be talking about Shaka Tony.
Hey, guys.
I guarantee you they'll be talking about the rest of those
Stand
guys.
by.
Yep.
Healthcare pays royalty fees to AARP. AARP is not an...
News Talk 970 WBLF Bellefonte State College and all new at 106.3 FM W292EZ Altoona Bellefonte State College WBLF AM and FM.
Hey, welcome back to Lions Live, folks. The only network built by the players for the fans. Here we to take that quick station ID break. Didn't mean to cut you off there, Jimmy, but it's one of those legal things we got to do here. So, man, this is awesome, man. This is the best stuff you can ever get on Talk Sports Radio here. You're getting it live because we're not a podcast and we're not pre-recorded. So this is really the best. Thank you, Jimmy, so much for sharing. Please continue. This is stuff, man. You need to put together the Jimmy Kennedy football school of defense, man.
And you know what it is? You know what it is? I get a lot of people asking for knowledge and want me to share stuff with them, and I will not give it to anyone but Penn Staters.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
I would not give it to anyone but Penn Staters. Literally, I'll sit and I'll talk with Penn Staters, and literally, like I said, God willing, everything goes right with me and so on. I'm able to get out there, before the start of next season and so on, and share some technique with these guys and so on so they can be 10 times better and get out there more often what I am doing right now, man, I'm just looking forward to it because I just want to pass that knowledge on.
Right on, man. Well, we'll try.
And even then, I say right now that if I had the chance and I wasn't, out here, my son didn't love Arizona so much, that I would literally try to be an assistant defensive line coach for the Lions.
That'd be great.
So
we'd have you in here. We'd have you in here live, like your Cove comes in. All three of us would be in there. That'd be great.
Yeah,
we get the big dude in here as well.
We might need to make some room for the Grizz though. He can't just we got to make sure he got enough room in there for him.
Well, we got 4 microphones here. No, I talked to. No, I actually talked to Big Dude this morning, and he had a meeting to go to. So he won't catch us. He'll have to text us in our picks. We'll have to get to that. Also talked to one of the man who still has the world record in the fastest times for the 100-yard dash. Tommy Yon was with the Patriots. Tommy and I were here at Penn State together and running back, and we're so stacked. We're like 5, 6 deep in every position, and Tommy never got to really play here at Penn State. He still went on to the Pats, played a little bit because he's just so fast. And yeah, that's just, it's like you said, Jimmy, it's all fitting in at the right time, and I've noticed that with some kids on a special team side. I've seen kids, coached kids over the last 30 years, kicking the ball, and you refer them to different schools and things, and it's all a matter of timing, and I remember one kid in particular here in Pennsylvania. His name was Caleb Morris out of Coudersport. And I worked with a kid. It was the summer before his freshman year. I went up, had a little mini camp thing up there for the whole team. Ran kids through like a little combine, doing 40s and had a vertical jump thing like that. And talked to him. I just told him about for me, I played, running back, linebacker, different positions, quarterback things growing up. But, came time after my freshman, during my freshman year in high school, realized I could kick a ball. And before that, I got good. So I told my story. And so this kid and his dad, kind of stuck with it. Well, the kid kicked 4 years and punted at his high school, set the world on fire there, focused in on that his senior years. And his senior year, he's putting kickoffs through the uprights, man. He had a leg. Oh. And I saw Coach Sarah out here one day at a Unimar. Hey, Coach, I mentioned to him and stuff, but it's all about who's been recruited at what year, at what school. And then earlier in the summer, I was down in Augusta, Georgia, and I was working out with a kid named Obietsky. He went to Maryland. He was played for Augusta High School. He had kicked the long ball there. I saw him at a camp out in Vegas, kicking camp out in Vegas. I got to know him a little bit, and I happened to be in Augusta that summer. So on the weekends, I go out and work out with him as he's getting ready to transition from high school to college. And I saw how he was going to go, and of course, he got the full ride to go to Maryland. Well, Caleb also got recruited to come as a walk-on to Maryland, and he came in after Obi. And he comes in, and he's kicking the ball. He's kicking the crap out of punting and kicking. But again, they got full rides on these guys who are ahead of him. And I said, man, that don't matter how good you are, because they got money on you. So he said, where should I go? So I said, we get out and you look and find a school that has somebody who's a junior. He said, why a junior? I said, make sure you don't have anybody else on scholarship below him, but get a guy who's on a scholarship who's a junior. Because what will happen is you got to transfer. You got to sit out a year. And you can earn your scholarship that year, and then they can put it on you. So he found Western Michigan was a school that could do that. So he goes out to Western Michigan, and he's kicking the ball further than the guys who were starting punting. He's booming the ball. Even the guy from the Bills saw him. He punted a ball 80 yards, man. He's crushing it. And all of a sudden, after his freshman or that transfer year, he had to sit out, where they saw he had the talent. The head coach got fired, and they brought in a new coach. And the first thing, what's the coach do? Because they saw he was losing his kicker as a senior. He goes out and puts a scholarship on another kid. And of course, Caleb never really got his shot there because, they had the money in this other kid, even though he could kick better than me. He basically coached that kid through the time he graduated. He's been going to the combines and stuff, trying to break in the NFL. But it's like you said, Jimmy, it's just timing and where you're at in your careers. And I've seen it happen with a lot of guys in a lot of different positions. And nobody should ever stop trying to pursue that dream, because you just never know when you may get your shot. And I hope that happens with a lot of guys up here.
What's awesome, Skip? I think and I don't think people who truly love the game become students of the game.
Right.
I will share something with you guys that only my NFL players know. When I left and I went to the Rams, obviously it became a business then and so on. But I realized what my goal was to do was to make myself so valuable that I didn't want to get cut whenever the opportunity came. I wanted to win so bad that I've learned different positions and so on. So, for example, at Penn State, I strictly played defensive tackle. We flopped over each other and so on. And I remember when I was there, like with Coach Sarah, I strictly played just the right side. And I hated it, because I always had to be in a left-hand stance and so on. So then guess what? I had to learn how to play out my left-hand stance. Then we switched, and then Anthony became strictly just the nose guard. So I was strictly just the defensive tackle. Then when you go to scouts, they're like, well, we love you. We just want you to play nose guard. And I'm like, man, I never played nose guard. That was Anthony's job. So then it was like, what am I going to do? Because here the Jets want to draft me, but, they're going to get Dwayne Robinson because he's strictly a nose guard, and they need a nose guard. And they don't think I want to play nose guard, which I just didn't know how to play nose guard. Jim Haslett from the Saints, who came to the Rams, told me he wanted me to be a nose guard. I didn't know how to play nose guard. So it was just like, I dominated defensive tackle, but it's different blocking schemes from defensive tackle to nose guard. So guess what? I went to Minnesota, and I learned I mastered playing the nose guard spot. I was still great at playing the defensive tackle spot. So now I was loving playing the nose guard spot. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I need to learn defensive end because we might go to a 3-4 sometimes. We might do this. So then I learned both defensive end spots, which now made me more valuable. Then I stopped and I was like, man, whatever happens is, we get a lineman down. You know what? I'm going to be on the field goal protection team. Now I'm on the field goal protection team, and because I'm a good athlete, when we get a fire call, I know how to get out there, find the corner of the end zone, and get the touchdown. I know how to run a quick route, and I got good hands. Then it was like, man, what else could help us win? You know what? Let me get on a kickoff return team. I'm going to be a part of the wedge. I'm a fast guy. The ball's coming back. Let me put a guy in front of me, get in front of the guy with the ball and go block somebody. I get a chance to hit somebody. Let me go do that. Then it was like, well, what else can I do to help my value? Well, let me learn how to snap.
Oh, yeah.
What happened if a guy get hurt? What happened if a guy get, something happened? We didn't have a snapper. Now I know how to long snap. Now I know how to short snap. I know how to snap field goals. I know how to snap a punch and so on. So here it is. It wasn't just about being a defensive tackle like I was at Penn State, because now I'm on a kickoff return. I'm a part of the wedge back in the day. I'm a long snapper. I can snap field goals. I can put it right where it needs to be. I'm now offensive blocker on the field goal protection team. I'm now on field goal defense. I'm now on goal line defense. I'm a 3-4 defensive end. I learned the game. And I specialize in the game. And for me, what I try to do when I talk to younger kids and so on, I try to get them to do everything possible.
Right.
Whereas so many people, especially when it comes to the pro level, they say, do your job. Well, guess what? When you're at the pro level, your job is to be a football player.
Right. Exactly.
Your people don't realize that. That's doing your job, being a football player. Because now, if you able to obviously focus on your position and stuff first, but if you're able to help the coaches out and literally help the team become that next man up attitude and so on, because you're able to be the next guy up to help someone else. I was never a second team snapper, but I guarantee you, if we lost somebody to sickness or whatever, I'm a third team snapper and so on. It's like, oh, we can't really get rid of him. He's a backup snapper.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You just increased your worth. You got stock.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right on. Right on.
So what I think is, it's not just about, especially when it comes to high school, junior high school, so on, it's not just about maintaining your worth at the college level and the professional level. The earlier you start, the better you become. And I say that because that's what I think is happening at Penn State. I think the guys is really going out there, and the younger guys that's hard on themselves and so on, I think they have a passion of just being great at the game. And that's what I love about this Penn State squad.
Right. Right on. Keep it up, and let's make it happen. You know what, guys? Let's get our picks in here quick tonight, too. Moving along here. Fastest hour in college football, and we always run over a little bit. So, hey, this week we got, well, first of all, let's get a little recap here where we're at with our standings. Jimmy, you came in with 3 and 4 last week. It's a rough week with some of your picks.
Man.
Yakov came in at 4 and 3, and I was at 4 and 3 also. I would have been 5 and 3, but you guys shamed me into that one last Wednesday. He shamed me into making a loss here. But anyway, the big dude is still, he got 4 and 3, and overall, the big dude's leading everybody at 54 and 15, and Yakov and I are at a second, 52 and 17, and Jimmy's at 51 and 18. So it's a close race, guys. We're all within 3 of one another as far as picks go.
So just a game behind.
Yeah. Two for the top. Yakov and I are 1 back from the big dude. So we're 2 back from the big dude, and Jimmy's 3. So yeah, we're all neck and neck here coming down to the end. We'll see how this all plays out. This week here we got Wisconsin at Indiana.
I'm going Wisconsin.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm already there too. Yakov? Yakov's still thinking about it. While he's thinking about that one, Jimmy, we have this one here. Maybe he'll want to chime in with. We got Illinois at Purdue.
Oh, you're calling jumping on that one? I'm going Purdue.
Yeah, so am I. Yakov, did we lose you? He don't want to talk about that.
He probably over there taking care of the kids.
Yeah. He's got it on, yep, he's got us on mute. Yeah, he don't want to talk about that one, I'm sure. Now this one here, it'd be great to see an upset. We got Ohio State at Iowa. At Iowa.
It's at Iowa?
At Iowa.
Yeah, it will be great to see an upset. I'm going to call it upset. I'm going Iowa.
You're going to Iowa? No kidding. Okay.
I'm going Iowa. Call it upset. I'm already at the bottom. What I got to lose?
Maybe just one more too, right? Yeah, I got to go Ohio State with that one. It seems like when they want to push on the gas, they can play, but man, they know how to screw up a game too. Looking at last week, Ohio State had a couple of those turnovers, and they know how to play bad football. I'll give them credit for that. But when they want to turn, when they want to turn it on, they can turn it on. So
I disagree with this kid. I think me personally, I'm gonna take where I'm going with Iowa. I think if that game was at Penn State, we win.
Really?
So, yeah, think about it. If that game was at Penn State, we had the crowd noise and the momentum and stuff on our side. I think Ohio State falls into the tank.
Wow. I think I can factor into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We lost by 1 point.
Right.
Home time. I mean, in their home, it's a horseshoe.
Mm-hmm.
So we already are battle tested in Iowa. We know how tough they were to play. Right. Iowa now has film. Keep in mind this too. Another thing that plays a part. They beat us by 1 point coming up with bye week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that plays a part too. They wasn't. That's what I'm speaking in terms of they were set up to beat us. Think about it.
Oh no, I know that. You could see that coming. When they scheduled the whole season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, Penn State knocked them off last week. Let's give them 2 weeks to prepare for them, and they only beat us by 1. I think we still put enough of their errors, their flaws on film to help Iowa get the upset.
I'd like to see it happen. I want to see it happen. Okay, I want to see it happen. We need Ohio State lose.
Because understand that you ain't fixing that kickoff return in a week.
No.
And when we have our linebacker number 7 break for 60 yards down the sideline, who's not Barkley, that's not getting fixed in a week.
Well, that's true. Listen, we need to have them lose. So, I mean, I'd love to see that happen. And Ohio State doesn't have it all that easy. They got a couple more tough games. They got Michigan State coming up after we beat Michigan State, hopefully this week here.
I'm gonna take Michigan State that week too.
Well, I'd like to see that happen. But we have to beat Michigan State this week. We'll get to that. Then after that, they have Illinois, which I'm sure that'll be an easy one for Ohio State. But then they wind up with Michigan at the end. So if they could lose a couple more games, man, I know they got us in the head-to-head, but I think with the overall pick for the playoffs, I think we could surpass them because of overall number of losses. So, it's possible, and we could keep that hope out there. Clemson lost to Syracuse. Okay, so what's it tell you? It could happen on any Saturday. I don't think Clemson's as good as people think they are either. So. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play. I don't think Notre Dame's as good as people have made them out to be either. And I want that. I want them to lose every game they play too. So, hey, we got Northwestern at Nebraska after that.
It's at Nebraska?
It's at Nebraska, but I picked Northwestern myself.
Yeah.
Northwestern won last week. Okay. So, and again, when you look at Northwestern, they beat Michigan State last week by 8.
Right?
By 8.
I can't believe that.
So, I mean, Michigan State's going to be coming after us for sure. But I think Northwestern is putting it together, and I don't think Nebraska has. So I picked Northwestern.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
So I'm trying to help you get some scores here, buddy.
No, that's fine.
Now, this one here, I think isn't too hard to figure out. Maryland at Rutgers.
That one's a hard one.
Really? I got Maryland on this one.
I don't know, because every time I pick Maryland, they don't show up.
Yeah, but no, Maryland beat Indiana last week 42-39. They beat Indiana, and I think Indiana's not too bad a team, but I think they're going to beat Rutgers, even though it's at Rutgers. But that's my pick.
But didn't I pick Indiana last week?
No, last week you had last week you had you did pick Indiana last week.
I picked Indiana because every time I pick Rutgers, they don't show up.
No, that's Maryland. You mean Maryland? Yeah.
I mean Maryland. Every time I pick them, they don't show up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like I picked Maryland to lose, and literally like their third string quarterback go out there and ran for like 180.
Well, really? Okay. Well, you want to go Rutgers at home?
Over Maryland. I'm gonna try to see what Maryland's gonna do. Watch, I tell you, they're gonna lose for me. Watch.
You got.
I'm going Maryland.
Okay, yeah, that's who I got too on that one. Next one's Minnesota at Michigan, and I got Michigan on that one, buddy. I don't think that's going to be a tough one.
On that one.
And of course, our game here at Penn State, Michigan State. We have that one to pick, and I'm going to go first this time because usually I go last. No, it's at Michigan State.
Is that a home game for us?
No, it's we're away at Michigan State.
We at Michigan State, right?
Oh yeah. They play us tough every year, even when they come up.
Yeah, I know.
And of course they're coming off that loss to Northwestern, but we beat Northwestern. So I'm picking Penn State, to win this one, and it's gonna be a tough game, but I'm picking Penn State to win this.
Yeah, I'm picking Penn State by 7.
Yeah, want to give me a number for a score?
Number, I still think we could put up 30. I'm gonna say, let's go 32-24.
32-24. Okay, all right. I was actually gonna go 31-27 in a close one.
Yeah, see that. I mean, I don't blame you, but I mean, think about it. The difference between our scores is a field goal.
Oh, I know. So. I think that's what it's going to be in this game because we'll be out there, different environment, but I think it's one we can win in. Natural
yeah,
grass.
I think so. But then you also got to keep in mind that the Heisman watch is still going on.
Yeah.
Saquon still did some decent things on special teams, but he still haven't solidified himself offensively. He's made some spectacular jumps and stuff like that in the past, but I think he's going to go out there with an extra chip on his shoulder.
Oh, no doubt. And I look forward to seeing him running back another kickoff again. It's kind of funny. I got to say this little side note out here. I was talking to Michael here, one of the owners of the radio station here tonight. And I said, hey, your insurance company's going to be dropping you guys for these contests you're in. Because they run these contests where if the opening kickoff is returned at a Penn State home game for a touchdown from either team, it's a $10,000 prize they got to give out. So they buy insurance for this, And of course, here's these games. He keeps taking the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, right? So the insurance company's calling up, starting to get into him and a hon, because over all the years, they've been making that money in premiums. And man, they're jacking some money out now. He's running them kickoffs back. So
yeah, because that's for at least 2 of them, right?
Right. So a couple more home games left here. It'd be great to see him do that and have somebody around this area, whoever enters the contest down here, I guess, to get a drawing. And, he runs that kickoff back either team for a touchdown. It's 10 G's in the pocket, man. So not a bad way to go. So a little side note.
Mm-hmm.
But, wow, man,
hey, they can afford it. The insurance companies can afford it.
Oh, you tell me. Tell me, man. I know. I'm racing down here.
Like you said, think about this. What happens if they're not getting it ran back? Look how much money they're putting in their pocket.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I got some insurance stuff I'm doing. I got to run down to Georgia tomorrow myself, buddy. I'm on the road.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where I'm headed here for a day or two, and I'll be zipping back. And I don't have my own private jet, so I take the land route.
Southwest it is. Southwest your concert.
Or Sprint. What's that? Sprint? Or no, Spirit. Spirit Airlines, man. Spirit Airlines got some cheap deals out there, man. I've seen some prices.
Yeah, I told you Southwest got conscious now.
So yeah, I've done it both ways, but yeah, that's so but hey, buddy, I really I will pray for you, man. I trust that the doctor's giving wisdom to how to help you get through this surgery here Monday, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah, I uphold you guys and everybody here too. So we trust for the best, and we know it'll happen. That's the coolest thing we got going for us, man, is our faith. And I have to mention that too now. This is Reformation Week. Yesterday was the 500th day of when that great awakening to people of us coming out of the dark ages, and people's ignorance was all rolled away. People couldn't read before. We got people are literate now because of the printing press, and no more superstitions. We can actually read the word ourselves. And man, awesome things have been happening ever since. There's a lot of reforms need to take place, man, because God bless the families out there in New York for that horrible thing that took place.
Yeah.
It's a still fallen world we live in, and a lot of souls need to be reached, because hate is not the way to fix anything. It only makes things worse. So we got a lot of good news and light to shine out there. So we'll keep on doing that. We love doing that here every week, folks. We thank everybody for listening to us. Any parting comments, Jimmy, before we wrap it up?
Man, I enjoy really weekly, to get on the phone with you guys. You guys are great, and I appreciate it because, even though I get on the phone and I sound chipper and stuff, football did take its toll on my body, and to continue to do this stuff, I honestly look forward to, chatting it up with you guys for the hour or so that we do it. So thank you guys for that. And, Penn State, watching the games and stuff keep me going and staying on top of things, And later in my age and later in my years after this, when you start thinking about the CTEs and the different stuff, the up and down, the mood swings and stuff like that, it's just a blessing to have guys like you, and, big dudes and Yaakov and so on to shoot it, shoot the, what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
talk ball and stuff, laughing, joking.
Well, we got a great family, We have an awesome family here at Penn State, and there's lots of love between everybody, and anything we can do to unite one another and keep us together and uphold one another and uplift one another, that's what we're all about. I'm thankful for you, Jimmy, man, and I can't wait to see you get back up here again and get you back on. Get the wheels running the way they like to. I'm thinking of running them as fast, but it'll be great to see you when you get up here again. So
yeah, definitely. I appreciate it.
You hanging there, buddy, man. You're the guys of the highlights of my week too, man. I love it. I can't wait to get back here again. So we'll go ahead and sign it off on behalf of the Grizz, Jimmy Kennedy. My name's Skip Drava with Yaakov Israel, and the big dude Stephen Davis here had to step out, but they're gonna have to text us their picks. We're not gonna let them off. We're not gonna let them off the hook, Jimmy. They got to pick us. Hey, everybody, have a great night. Lord bless you. Keep it. We'll see you, and we'll take you back to our regular schedule permanently. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Be cool, Skip.
Love you, buddy. Take care.
Do you hear me? from deep in the heart of Texas.
The Dana Show.
I love missing persons. You know what? People truly don't walk in LA. They just drive everywhere. It's true. It's true. So we're trying to come up with something for ranked top 5. And Kane says I'm being too mean because I'm in a jerk